you can take it away.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm glad you're back. So these meetings, we're just going to try to go over some tips and tricks to help you guys with telepractice. We're going to try to keep them 30 minutes, about that much time, because we're not trying to keep you guys for an hour. We know you guys are busy. So if you guys have any general questions or concerns, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll try to go through them as I'm going through the PowerPoint. I know we're starting to open back up a little bit, so that's kind of exciting. That looks like there might be a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, and I also have Aaron James on here with me today. He's going to give you guys a little presentation about severe profound children. He's really excellent. He's one of our speech language pathologists. Sorry, Aaron. Okay, so the PowerPoint here I'm sharing, you can kind of see my slides on the side here. If I go into the presentation mode, it kind of kicks me out. So we're calling this telepracticing. The first thing I wanted to go over is I have been in contact with the OT and PT boards, because the supervision and the requirements for supervision is something that's been constantly changing. So I wanted to talk to them this week to get a definite answer on where we're at with this. So per the PT board, you guys have to have your one supervision visit. Hey guys, by the way, don't forget to mute your mics.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I was answering.
Okay. So, you all have to, when you're supervising your assistants, you have to have one supervision visit every 10 days, or every 10 visits, or every 30 days. Typically, this has to be done face-to-face with direct supervision. They are allowing this to be done via teletherapy now. So if you would hop on a call or a conference call with your PTA, that will count as the direct therapy supervision. With OTs, we are required to have the one face-to-face visit with students before updating an IEP. This can be completed via teletherapy session now. And then with CODA supervision, we've always been able to complete that, the general supervision, via teleconference, so that will stay the same. So I hope that kind of answers your all's questions about supervising PTAs and your CODAs. Did you have any other specific questions with that? Like I said, I just kind of got general guidelines and information about it. In talking to them, they're still kind of reeling from this and, figuring out what this is going to look like. But from what I got from them, it's very, very lax. It's like everything else with HIPAA and FERPA, with the licensure laws. They're not going to come after you if you have one visit, or you could not get that supervision visit in. That's not going to be as strict as it normally is. Okay, and for the Medicaid billing, right now, I know I've heard from a few counties about TCM billing for OT and PT for making packets and things like that. We are not to do TCM billing. So they told us, do not worry about TCM billing for PT and OT. This is being done with the teachers and the speech therapists. So we do not need to do this. The main focus is the students receiving their services and not on the Medicaid reimbursement. And I know we had some questions about the PTAs and CODAs with the Medicaid reimbursement, because typically we have to be in the same building as them to be reimbursed for their treatment. We still can be reimbursed for the assistance treatment, but you have to be directly on that session with them. So if you are doing your supervision visit, or you're just supervising them in general, if you are on the same call with them, that is being considered in the same building with them right now. But again, they really wanted to stress that we're not really worrying about the Medicaid reimbursement end of this, more about the treatment end of this and the kids getting their services. And obviously, you cannot double bill for the assistant and the supervising therapist. So if you're both hopping on one session, you can only bill for that one time. And as always, be sure to double check with your county's policies at this time, because every county has, you know, enacted this a little differently. So, you know, we're gonna have different policies in different counties, and always be sure to double check with your county before doing anything. Okay, so we had some questions last time about some severe profound students, how to engage with them, how to get a good session with them. And I contacted Aaron James because he is one of our full-time teletherapists, and he is excellent with this population. He has done wonders with these kids. As he likes to say, his whole caseload is full of the impossibles that we would normally not fit for teletherapy or not able to do it. So I brought him on here to kind of go over some things. We talked a little bit before this, and we kind of went over some general tips, but I'll let him go ahead and speak, and then I'll kind of follow up behind him.
All right. Hi, everyone. So one of the things that has been the biggest key for teletherapy and getting, so a little bit about me is I do a lot of stuff with AAC, autism, nonverbal. Sometimes I've, done some consult with kiddos with some body positioning issues as well with lower mobility. But a lot of my kids have been that higher need AAC, the traditional kid that we've ruled out of saying that they can do a teletherapy model. So with that in mind, we kind of threw all those ideas out and kind of broke it down into, when we get these kids working, regardless of the session time, like say they're supposed to have a 15-minute session. If I can get that kid working for 5 minutes and that kid works the very best that they can do in that 5 minutes, I will take that 5 minutes of a fantastic therapy session over a behavior or a refusal or the kiddo not even trying or unable to try. So I try to emphasize a very strong quality session over just trying to meet my minutes to meet my minutes. Because when I've taken this approach, let's say Johnny on Monday was able to work for 5 minutes and then his tolerance was done and he couldn't handle anymore. But then let's say next Monday, Johnny sits down and he's like, all right, I can do this. I can keep going. And then all of a sudden you're doing 15-minute session, whereas the week before you only did 5 and you kind of made up some of your minutes. So that's a lot of what I try to do is when the kid is engaged and ready to go, we're rocking and rolling with it and we keep going until the kid is really unable to go anymore or their tolerance to the topic kind of goes down. So a lot of how I've been engaging the teletherapy model with these higher need kids is when I have the other person on the other side. So that could be mom, dad, caregiver, residential staff, whoever it is that you're working with. That is your partner in the conversation. That's your person who is going to be your eyes and ears and your hands for what you may need to have happen. So prior to going into any of these higher need situations and having the kiddos start their session, I'll establish ground rules with mom, dad, caregiver, whoever, and say, hey, mom, this is what I'm working on today. I want to make sure that Johnny is able to use an I-1 sequence when making a request for his snack today. And so I tell mom, like, hey, this is how the prompting is going to look. I only want it after so long. And if you're unsure, I'll give you more cues. Don't worry about it. So servicing them in a way that you're setting up mom and dad or whoever's on the other side for success because they know where you're going with it. Because unfortunately with this population, mom and dad, they want, oftentimes, not always, mom and dad want to be involved, but they are limited in how they know how to be involved. So with these high needs kids, this has been a great place to see what they're doing in their home environment and what we can do to best support them so that they're not just learning the skills that are going to make them successful in school, but the skills that they need to be successful as a person. For barriers, I would say the biggest thing is just the barriers is keeping it short and quick and fast paced, and using the screen to really show your communication. As a speech therapist, we talk about your nonverbal communication, your barrier, how expressive you are. So now that everyone's only on, a small screen, you only have, maybe your upper torso to show that your excitement or that the kid's doing the right thing. So making sure that you're optimizing that screen size to get the best for the kid, and really encouraging them to make those efforts and encouraging them visually as well, which can be challenging, but it can happen pretty quickly and they get used to it as well. That, I think, is the biggest thing, is that when we started this, teachers and others weren't really thinking that this could work. And then all of a sudden it started working and it kept working. And yeah.
Thank you, Erin. Those are great tips. I kind of did a couple of my own little tips. So Erin, feel free to jump in if you think of anything or if something I didn't go over, because I just did very general ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like Erin said, quality over quantity. I know that, typically in the school system, we are very tied to our minutes. We have to get 30 minutes. We have to get this many minutes of direct treatment. We are not held to those same standards with telepractice right now. So really, like Erin said, if you can get 5 minutes of very beneficial engagement, that's better than, trying to push them through a session where they become resistant to the session and teletherapy in general. That's what we're really trying to avoid here. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that we have done when we're in our schools. Whenever we get a new kid or we get a lower kid that has some behavior issues, it takes a while to build that rapport, and it takes a while for them to understand, when you come to the room, you sit down, we work, here's what's expected of you. We're really just going backwards and starting that over again with this home model, and then being at home with teletherapy. And also, I'm sorry, I forget who it was talking about the related service model. That's very relevant here. We have a great opportunity here to support the parents, support the teachers, and we really need to be asking ourselves, what are the barriers to service? Or what are the barriers to that child really engaging with their other teletherapy services or their other teleservices, like virtual schooling? Do they have the equipment they need? Do they have, AAC needs for communication? Is there some way we can facilitate that? Positioning, is there a way we can coach the parents to position them so they can better pay attention or get more engagement from them? Those are really all questions we should be asking ourselves that we would ask in the classroom, but now they're at home.
And I think that is the biggest part right there, is that when we're doing this, we all of us on this meeting already have the amazing skills that we need to get these kids the success that they need. It's just that we are reframing how we do it, and looking at, you have to take everything that you've always done and take a step back and figure out, how can I do it without me doing it? You're teaching someone else how to do your own skill.
Yeah. And I feel like, I had a couple really great sessions this week that I finally felt like, okay, we're getting it. Like, we're all on board. We're getting this now. I'm getting it. They're getting it. So, I mean, it really is just taking time. And these are some of the kids that it took me a long time. It took me multiple sessions to get to that point with them face to face and when we were in school. So we're, like I said, we're really just starting from the beginning again and rebuilding the rapport, just in a different setting and a different model right now. But I also think this is a great time to kind of bridge this gap that we usually see in school-based services, which is the carryover at home. Because there are a lot of times that parents either don't carry over at home, they don't stay in touch with us, or they may not know what to do. So we may send homework home and they say, I don't really know how to do this. We're not going to do this. Well, now we have this great opportunity to reach these parents, explain to them what we're doing, explain to them how they can carry it over at home and how they can help with these goals as well. And I've also seen a huge, aha moment for a lot of parents where, when we're working on these skills and they can see these little bits of progress, it's hitting them too, where they're like, wow, this is working. Look, he's starting to trace this letter now, and I helped him do that. And I think it's also giving them a sense of connectivity to therapy in the schools. And again, just remember, this is a setting with different dynamics. They're at home, they're with mom, they're with dad, they're with caregiver. So we really have to be cognizant of that. I'm not trying to make mom's relationship with her child or dad's relationship with their child harder. So I don't really think it's fair if you have a child with these severe behavior problems and they're, you can tell it's kind of creating tension between them and the caregiver. That's when I kind of back off. I don't want to push them so hard that it ruins the rest of their day together. Because to me, it's different when they're with me one-on-one in my room and I have my own rules and we have our own set of dynamics, but we need to be very cognizant of what are their dynamics at home and how can we use that and what their parents typically do. How do they reward? How do they, get these skills from them and kind of fit right in there with that instead of what we would typically do in our sessions. And then of course, rewarding and reinforcing. I've had to use a lot more rewards and reinforcements than I typically do, and that's okay. Typically, I'm not going to reward with YouTube videos and games and things like that, when I'm in a one-on-one setting, but in this setting, it's just going to look a little differently, and we may need to do things like that we wouldn't normally do. And if you get 2 minutes and reinforce, 2 minutes, reinforce, 2 minutes, reinforce, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, we're just looking for that quality session. How do we get the most out of the session? I don't care if it's 10 minutes, it's 30 minutes, but, I will say that I feel like my sessions of engagement, of engaging these kids, even my lower kids, are getting more and more and more as time goes on. And be kind to yourself. This is so difficult for everyone. We've all been thrown into this, parents, kids, therapists, teachers, everything. Be also kind to yourself, because I know we all want that progress so much. We all want the best for our kids, and we all want to feel like we're doing, a service to the best of our abilities. And you all are doing a great job. So be very, kind to yourself and be very, easy on yourself, that it may not look like it normally does. And we're just doing the very best we can, and, be happy with that.
Annie, let me interrupt you a second. Did you intend to share your screen?
Is it the?
We're just seeing you right now.
Oh, it should be my PowerPoint. Let me try it again. Oh, oops, Teams left.
Yep, PowerPoint's up. Thank you.
All right. Okay, and some tips for some of our kids with autism. And I mean, I will be the first to admit, I feel like a lot of my sessions with my severely autistic population, they've been rough. It's been hard to get them engaged. It's been hard to get them used to now sitting on a computer. And also, a lot of these kids use their tablets, their computers, their electronics for games and entertainment and videos. So it has been kind of hard to get over that hump of, no, we're engaging one-on-one on the computer and you're not going to go straight to your video. But again, I've just been using the videos as reinforcement. Okay, we'll do this 1 minute activity. When the timer goes off, you get your video. When the timer goes off, back. Just like we do when we're in regular, one-on-one therapy, timers are very effective of saying, we're going to do 1 minute, of treatment or whatever this activity is. Then you can have your video. Then you can have the reinforcement for however many minutes or however long you want to set your timer for. I've also been texting parents before to ask them what kind of day they're having. I may say, are we having a rough day today? And they said, yeah, they're bouncing off the walls. They're crazy. I can't get them to sit. And I'm still encouraging parents that even if they're having a rough day, let's still connect. Even if we connect for a few minutes and we can discuss some sensory strategies, or we can try to kind of modify this activity for them, let's still connect and let's just try to get through it. We don't have to sit here for 30 minutes, because I have noticed, and I've noticed with our other therapists, that we've had more and more no-shows for therapy of parents canceling or just not showing up in general. And I do think they're also extremely overwhelmed by all of this. I don't think anyone expected this to go to the end of the year. I think parents are worn out. They're tired. They are just kind of at their wits' end. And, I've, with them to kind of help with the no-shows and the canceling, I've told the same thing to them, where, you know, let's just get what we can get out of this. We're just doing the very best we can. Don't become stressed out, because if you think they're not behaving the right way, or, you know, we aren't getting a great session, let's not worry about that. Let's just worry about connecting, engaging, and then we'll go from there. And also just telling them, if you need to reschedule, well, let's reschedule. You know, if it's really a really bad day, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it another time. And that's been very helpful too, with, I think, with the no-shows and the cancellations. Also, just making a little visual schedule for the session has helped. I have like a little check-in. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling happy, sad? Do you feel silly and crazy? You know, are you tired? Just to kind of get them aware of their feelings before the session, and, you know, what they, you know, what they want to do or how they're feeling that day. You know, warming up with the gross motor activities and have really helped. Warming up with a little bit of sensory has really helped, as it does even with our one-on-one, you know, sessions. You know, and just talking about your session before you do it. Okay, you know, let's do our warm-up. We're going to do Play-Doh, we're going to do reward, and then we'll be done. The same way we do when we're in school. You know, visual schedule is one of our greatest assets, and it's the same thing here. I've made little visual schedules just on Word, because I think it's kind of hard to, when you have the templates like online, they basically have like lunchtime, snack time, things like that. So I've just been finding little pictures on the internet, and, you know, I say, okay, we're going to do warm up for 3 minutes. Then we're going to do Play-Doh letters for 5 minutes, and then we'll watch your Bubble Guppies video for 2 minutes. We're going to trace circles and lines, and then we're going to breathe for a minute, and then we're done. You know, and then just like we do whenever we're in school, okay, what's next? First, then boards. Okay, first Play-Doh, then Bubble Guppies. You know, first tracing, then Bubble Guppies. Just like we do when we're in school. But I do think it's helped to have this type of visual schedule, and just scheduling your sessions to where they are the same every session. You can change the activities, but they know we're going to start with a warm up. We're going to do a little bit of, you know, whatever, fine motor, strengthening, whatever it is. I get a reward. We do a little more of our session, and then we're done. You know, to have that consistent session, even if you're changing rewards or you're changing the times, that they know what's coming and that they can plan for it, just like I said, just like we do when we're in school. And this was part of the Teachers Pay Teachers bundle that I got. This is copyrighted, so you would need to pay for this and get the bundle. But they have a lot of these great, like, little week 1, week 2, like little sessions that they're pretty much the same every week, but the exercises are different, the activities are different, but they have that same structure every week. But we're checking in, you know, we're warming up, we're doing our fine motor activity, and then we're done. Or then, you know, however you would like to schedule that or whatever. Erin, do you have anything else to add to that?
I was also going to chime in with some of the other things too, is that we're now able to, now that you guys are joining on like the teletherapy platform, you guys are able to use and take advantage of the fact that now we're going to be engaging kids on their preferred platform. Because, I mean, which kid doesn't like to be on an iPad or a computer all day? So take advantage of that. That's a huge thing. There are also a lot of free resources out there. If you guys also wanted to make, and Annie, I was going to text you this too, is that if you wanted to make any like visual schedules that were a little bit more animated, if you guys have one of the free accounts for Boom Cards, I could easily show you how to make a little tutorial on a visual schedule that would also be interactive if the kiddo wanted it.
Oh, that would be great, Erin. You're so tech savvy. I have like my little Word documents, but yeah, that would be wonderful if you could do that as well. Let me see. There was something else. Oh, the resources on Teams. Have you guys been able to access those? Okay, going through some questions here. Leanne, have you seen any? I'm sorry, I've been looking at the PowerPoint. I haven't looked at questions. I'm sorry, guys. I'll look through this real quickly. Caseload. Okay. What percentage of your caseloads participating in the actual therapy? Not a very high amount. I probably have, I'm working in multiple counties right now, but I probably have on average, I'm going to say like 6 or 7 in each county that's been participating consistently. I've had a couple that'll kind of pepper in there here and there, or they'll say, let's try a session this week. But the majority of families have chosen packets or not to do teletherapy. Yeah, about a third.
While you're reading, Annie, I'll answer the question about
Okay.
people not having the technology.
Okay.
Special ed directors and superintendents are aware of that. It's happening all across the state. And they are getting money from the stimulus package from the government to help make things more equal. So to provide access to students who don't have it right now. So they'll be taking care of that this summer. It's a huge concern across the nation.
Yes. Heather, I looked at your question saying, are 15-minute sessions a target for each week? No, the target is how much you can possibly get, out of that child that's meaningful. I'm up to most of my kids doing 30-minute, very quality sessions, but in the beginning they were like 5, 10. What we're saying with these sessions, yeah.
So from the other side, from a telespeech, is I know most therapists are doing like a 15-minute sessions per week. That way, both the kid and the therapist aren't getting exhausted from sitting there for 30 minutes trying to get something accomplished. So that's something that I've seen a lot of, is more 15-minute sessions as opposed to a 30.
Yeah, and that's going to vary family to family. I had some that for probably 3 weeks, we did 2 15-minute sessions. And then, on the 4th week, I realized they were paying attention more and more and more. And we stuck around for the whole 30, and that was fine. Sorry. There are some families that I'm still doing 30 or 15-minute sessions with. There are some families I'm doing 5 minutes and then coaching them for 10. And if I see that this child is just really just not having it today and they're melting down, I'll tell the parent, let's stop it for now, and then I can go over this activity with you and you can complete it whenever you have time and you feel like they're willing and they're ready to complete it. And that's been a lot easier on parents too, where I've told them, do not feel like you have to sit here and physically hold your child in the session. If we get 5 minutes, we get 5 minutes, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. I'll explain the activity to you and you can complete it later. Yeah, and when I'm reading OT Joy's, how are you feeling for students, but asking parents too, absolutely. And that's part of that related service model like we talked about, asking parents, what do you need? What are your barriers right now? What are you stressed out about? How can I help you with the whole virtual schooling process? Because it has been really, really hard for parents. And I've talked to a lot of special needs parents, especially, that they are really struggling because they're home. Typically their kids come home and they relax and they play, and they don't really have a schedule. For now, the parent to be putting them on a schedule, trying to get all this work done, has been really, really stressful for them. And I think the therapists have really helped by just checking in with them, seeing how they can support them, and seeing how they can support the child's needs while they're learning. Yeah, so I see ESY mentioned briefly here. I'm seeing more and more emails coming through, and more counties are saying that they're going to be all virtual for ESY as well. So I would think that we're probably going to be using this. I don't know how many parents will be interested in ESY virtually, but that's how we're going to be offering this too. Okay. Thank you, Ashley. Oh, hi, Debbie. I looked at sharing whiteboard. Share whiteboard. Okay, sharing to share the whiteboard.
Are you talking about? That's in Teams, I think. Is that right, Debbie?
Yeah, I know they have whiteboard and they have the. Okay.
Okay.
And
Mark
Zoom
Moore has created a tutorial for us. We'll be posting for how to do that.
Great.
And as far as them having to have access to the student's account, I think the parent can set up a free Teams account, and you can use that email address. But I'll check on that for sure for you.
And I know for those who use Zoom, Zoom also has a whiteboard as well with the annotate. And Leanne, we have a tutorial on how to annotate on Zoom. I don't know if you wanted me to share that or not, because I know that the Board of Ed mainly uses Teams.
Right. Would it be okay if people emailed you to get that link?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll type my email again in here. And if you guys would like any information on that, just let me know and I'll help you out.
Thanks so much, Annie.
And you guys can post in Teams or email me any specific topics you'd like to go over for next week, or any treatment ideas or something like that. Feel free to reach out to me, put it in Teams, email us, whatever you guys need. But do you have any other questions right now? No. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these about 30 minutes. I know we're all busy. We've been on the computers forever by the end of Friday, but I will stay on here for a few minutes if you guys have any questions you want to ask or anything. But that's what I have for today.
Annie, thank you so much. I think we'll all agree with Ashley, who said that you guys are amazing, and you really are. We could not have these sessions without you, and we appreciate Erin being on with us today too. And I'm just going to let the recording go for a couple seconds here to see if anybody has questions, and if not, then I'll go ahead and stop the recording. But thanks again, Annie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was great as usual.
Yes, Erin's going to do a boom card little tutorial there. I mean, I've heard boom cards like 475 times this week. I feel like boom cards are really starting to become really popular. I feel like the speech therapists are more proficient with them. So Erin, if you could do that, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice knowing we're all in this together. And, I think it's important to realize, like I said, to be kind to yourself. Well, we're all so new to this that, I have found like the most support with all the other therapists sharing treatment ideas, sharing tips, and all this stuff. And I think it's been really great to get together with you guys and talk to you. I love seeing all the names of people that I haven't seen in so long. Yes, he will share them with the PT and OT team as well. Thank you, Debbie. Can't just actually see you again in person.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and close the call now. Annie, thanks again. We appreciate you.
All right, guys.
Have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Erin, for jumping on with us.
Yes, we appreciate it.
No problem. See you later, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.